Welcome back to Front Row Cinema, a movie podcast for movie lovers by movie lovers. I am your host, Teacher Trimboli, and with me, my co-host. I got number one F1 racer in the world tonight. It's Mr. James O'Reilly.
I was trying to think of an actual F1 racer and I got nothing.
I,
So
I don't think I
you
can name.
win this round.
I watched the movie and they put plenty of actual F1 racers in the movie, and I still couldn't name you a single F1 racer.
Yeah, me neither.
Shows how much I pay attention. But F1, the movie, is a sports action film directed by Joseph Kosinski from a script by Aaron Kruger and starring Brad Pitt, Damon Idris, Terry Condon, and Javier Bardem. And it tells the story of a Formula One driver who comes out of retirement to mentor and team up with a younger driver. The budget for this movie, Jim, get ready for this. Are you sitting down? $300 million. dollars.
Jeez.
Yep. But Apple makes that probably in 50 seconds. The opening weekend,
Yeah.
yeah, you had something
No,
to say?
go ahead, go
I
ahead.
thought you were gonna ask. The opening weekend, 57 million, came in above estimates for what they were tracking, and the worldwide right now sits at 146.3 million.
Interesting.
Yeah. 83% from Rotten Tomatoes, and it gets over the hump, Jim, in A cinema score.
Okay, okay.
So pretty big.
Beats the A minus.
Yeah, beats the A minus. The big thing obviously is going to be what's its legs going to be to hopefully get itself into some green here. Because like it's not a
Well,
horrible opening weekend.
did you have an international total there?
I did not have an international total, but I mean 146.3 worldwide, 57 of that was domestic. So that's almost 100 million alone from international markets.
Yeah, because F1 is like
Yeah, hugely international.
really popular like across the world. Like people like in like Saudi Arabia love F1, you know? People
Yeah.
in like all of Europe love F1. It's like kind of a big deal, you know?
So I think it should have some legs over the summer, and I think the A cinema score is going to help it. I think good word of mouth is going to help it. This movie's been getting a lot of really good word of mouth from people coming out of it. I know we still have a stacked summer coming up with Jurassic World and Superman and Fantastic Four, but I think there's a world where F1, does kind of like a Top Gun Maverick, where like despite all those big movies coming out, it still quietly just makes money week over week.
Right. It's almost as if it's the best, maybe it becomes the best movie that's in theaters right now, so people actually go see it. Like, is that maybe like what we're talking about?
Yeah, that is a fair assumption to make.
My question about the budget,
Yes.
how much does like okay, how do I phrase this?
Phrase it.
They're spending a lot of money, but there are like certain scenes in the movie F1 that if they really hit and are shot well, I would tell them to spend $1 billion. So like what are the racing scenes like in this movie? Like
And,
are they like what you would everything you hope they would be and more?
and the racing scenes in this movie are fucking incredible.
I knew they would be. I could
They
tell. Like it looked
they
so good.
are so thrilling and well done. And you see every bit of that 300 million up on the screen. They
Good.
put those cameras in F1 cars. They sent Brad Pitt and Damon Idris, who plays the young rookie, out onto those tracks doing 180 miles an hour. It is so intense to watch, knowing that that's Brad Pitt driving that machine right there.
Right,
You're like
right.
on the edge of your seat for every single race. It is unbelievably well done. Another thing that goes to it that makes it look amazing is they shot actually at Formula One races. So, like, when you see a big ass crowd, it's actually a big crowd. It's not CGI or what
Right.
they've been doing where they kind of try and hide how big the crowd is by just like showing little bits and pieces of it. Like, this
Right.
is scale. This is
Right,
how
but hold
movie
on.
making used to be done that would show these big explosive things. And it looks amazing.
Yeah, and like that crowd thing specifically, like I feel like I noticed it in movies like this a lot where because they're trying to like hide the crowd, the angles are terrible. Like it you know it could look so much better if they weren't just like if their main goal wasn't to make those 100 people look like 1,000 people. You know what I mean? Like So I don't know. That just sounds like really all really great to me. That all sounds really cool.
These explosive wide shots that just show everything, and it looks unbelievable. Like just so like it so well done that it shows why it doesn't matter how good CGI gets. It doesn't matter like what it like nothing will beat good old fashioned practicality that uses like some special effects to help like maybe cover up a few little spots, but it is not the main drawer. We're not just like, hey, we don't need to put this table in here. We'll just put it in post. Like just put like Disney is a big offender of this because they just film on the volume, which is literally just like this big like circular dome that is used for backgrounds, and then everything else is kind of just CGI'd in. And it always looks bad. Like it doesn't
Yeah,
matter
well,
how good you got it, it's never gonna look as good as the real thing.
there's a story that comes to mind. I think it was The Flash, like is the movie I'm thinking of, where like part of the reason is because they plan on like iterating. So like when The Flash was released, there was like a couple of really bad CGI scenes that by the time it got onto streaming, they had already reworked those scenes. Like it was a different movie than the one they released in theaters. And like it was kind of the same movie, but like they had fixed things that didn't quite look good enough and whatever. Like so like it's almost like I feel like they're trying to do that as opposed to just making a good product out of the gate. And like I think there's a place for that kind of stuff. I think that there's certain things in movies you can't accomplish without those kinds of graphics, right? There's things that I've seen on a screen that I never would have seen them look as good as they looked if it wasn't for those kinds of graphics, you know? And I'm talking like not even just little touch-ups. I'm talking about like big grandiose like full shots that wouldn't exist without that stuff, you know?
Yeah.
But then there's another story I remember when do you remember when the Great Gatsby came out, what you said to me?
What did I say?
So you were talking about this exact thing, and you hated how much there was in The Great Gatsby. And you said to me, you know, they did a scene, it's like a guy on a roof playing a trumpet. And he's like, you could tell he's in a, like on top of a CGI building. It's like they couldn't just go like walk up onto a roof. Like, what are we doing, you know? And like, I think that's where you're really hitting home. Like the more mundane things or the things that can exist in reality, like we can watch a real F1 race. It's a thing that is tangible, you know? As a television product, it's tangible, you know? So like I think those kinds of things you'll never get them to look as good as the genuine article. You know what I mean? Like just never. It's never gonna work. Cause just because our eyes expect the genuine article, and when something that we can and do see all the time isn't what it's supposed to look like, we know like instinctually in a weird way. So like I don't know, it feels like this is the perfect movie for that practicality too, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
And it absolutely is because it works in spades because you really feel like you're in the driver's seat and you feel like you're on the edge of your seat like this entire movie. And one of the things this movie does, I think, better than, a lot of movies that are coming out, at least blockbuster movies that I think back to a time when so many blockbusters were like this. What makes this movie feel so like fresh and exciting is the fact that it's unexplored. It feels like an unexplored world. Because like you said, F1 is a thing that exists in the real world and everything, but there's never really been that many big like race car and driving movies. So when you're watching this movie and you're watching the story as this guy is pulled back into this world, it feels like an alien world to you because I know not for everyone, because obviously, like you said, there's a lot of international F1 fans. But for someone
In the
like me,
United States, it's probably a lot more alien, you know. It's
yeah,
like more of a niche thing over here.
exactly. But for someone like me who's like knows next to nothing about Formula One other than that it exists, watching this movie is like a breath of fresh air compared to watching like Star Wars Episode 9 or Jurassic Park 7 or Marvel 37. Like because it's new and it's something that I've seen before, but you're giving it to me in a new, fresh perspective. So it's exciting. And there's a reason why I feel like this movie hits and Sinners hit really well for me this year because it's movies that use blockbuster filmmaking to tell something different for me. That's not just recycling the same tired blockbuster movies summer after summer.
Right, right. And I mean, you're touched on something like there is, I'm not going to say there's no race car movies, right? Like there was that really, that Sylvester Stallone movie, Drive, which came
I didn't
out
say
way
there
back
was
when.
none. I just said there isn't as many, or at least to the
Yeah.
blockbuster level that like we're seeing out of
Need
F1.
for Speed, Days of
Oh,
Thunder, Speed Racer, which is like more of like a sci-fi
easy.
thing, but it's also a racing movie. Like it's like they exist, but I think like the important thing you just said is like Jurassic Park 7 or Marvel 37, which is the most amazing way I've ever heard anybody put it, by the way. Where like it's this astonishing thing that's happening where Marvel's literally making like their 40th movie and people are like, "Why aren't these good anymore?" And it's like
Yeah,
because you've seen 40 of them in the last 10
yeah.
years. What do you want me to tell you? Like they can only do this so many times before you get bored, you know? Like
Like they're not giving you anything new and exciting. Like the movies might be to varying degrees of good and well made, but there's nothing new, fresh, or exciting that they're doing anymore. It's the same thing recycled over and over again at this point.
right.
Like
I think I watched Winter Soldier the other day. And I was like, dude, this movie could have came out last week and I wouldn't have been able to tell the fucking difference. You know what I mean? Like it's like there's nothing special about this in any way, shape, or form. You know what I mean? So no, I think like you're making a great point, which is like these kinds of movies don't come along that often. And it's honestly, I would maybe put Seabiscuit in this one as well, specifically because the racing scenes are so intense. You know what I mean? And like I mean, maybe like Seabiscuit, right? Like the Ben-Hur chariot race scene is pretty nuts. And then there's a couple other really classic racing scenes, but it's also like a thing that you don't see too often. And when you do it right, a race is always going to be exciting. You know what I mean? Like when you can script it, it's almost impossible for it to not be exciting. And then you add on like that, I haven't seen a movie like this come out in a while, and you have different ways to film those races now. You have the ability to spend a lot of money to get access to F1 now, like it almost feels like you can do it better now in 2025 than you could have like 20 years ago or even 10 years ago, so I don't know. It's just like this is definitely one that's kind of been circled on my calendar since I saw the first trailer, and I haven't seen it yet, but I'm so excited to go see it.
and you absolutely should go see it because it's easily the movie of the summer for me at least. It is just phenomenally well done. And I don't mean like it's perfect. Like no movie's ever gonna be perfect. Like there's still plenty of like moments of cliche, and it's not like the story is like top tier. It's a very simple story, but we've talked about this time and time again. Simple is fine. You just need to like be fun and entertaining. And this
Right.
movie like is that in spades. Like it is so much fun. It breezes through its runtime. Brad Pitt is an absolute fucking star in this movie. There is a scene in this movie that I literally just died at that was so great, and it's when they're first the team is the F1 team is in last place. Javier Bardem is the owner of the team. He needs one win on the stage for Formula One in the season, or else the board is going to kick him out and sell the team. So he
Oh
enlists
no.
Brad Pitt to come back and help like steer the young rookie and lead
Right.
them
It's like
to
it's like almost like a Bull Durham kind of thing,
it's
right?
it's yeah it's very much Bull Durham, and it's a lot more like Ford v Ferrari than like I thought it was going to be, but it's very similar tones to Ford v Ferrari. And so like there's a great scene where the team is meeting for the first time and they're like figuring out like what they're gonna do, and they just lost a big race, and the like head engineer or whatever is standing there, and he's just like he gives this whole like rah-rah speech to them to be like, don't worry, like we're gonna come back from this, like we need to look to the future. And then he like looks off to the corner and Brad Pitt just like walks in, and it's like amazing. I was just like
Yeah.
bravo, like
Yeah.
bravo.
Really well done. Okay, so before we get more into the plot, I have a very important question. What was it? Was Brad Pitt, and then is it Damon Idris is the name you're saying?
Yes, Damon Idris is like the young rookie who's like too hot for his britches, like, and he just like doesn't want to listen to any advice Brad Pitt's got because he thinks he's got all the answers.
Yeah, right. He's Nuke Lelouch. Yeah,
Yep,
of
yep,
course. Yeah, it's Bull
yep,
Durham, dude.
yeah.
But so, can I like, is that guy in anything else? Like, what else
I've
would I
no,
know him from?
I've never seen him in anything. I do remember
Okay.
reading from somewhere that he's from some TV show. I can't remember what the name of it is. But he had like gotten big on some TV show. and that's what he was from. But I've never heard of it or seen it. But that doesn't really say much because I never really watched TV.
All right. I'm gonna look this up really quick because I had the like a very funny conversation with my dad today that I'm trying like the reason I'm asking is because I'm trying to wrap my head around this. So I was talking to my dad and I was like, "Oh yeah, Dad, I'm probably gonna go to the movies this weekend." And he's like, "Oh, what are you gonna see?" And I'm like, "I think I'm gonna go see F1." And he's like, "Oh yeah, I haven't heard much about that." And he goes, "But that who's in that? It's like Matt Damon or Brad Pitt." I'm like, "Yeah, Brad Pitt." And he's like, "Oh yeah, and then that Idris guy."
So
I
you're
was
thinking like
like,
Idris Elba?
that's what I'm wondering. Like, does he just think it's Idris Elba? Because my dad's like an older dude. He's like not even paying attention. Like,
Entirely possible. Entirely possible.
like, because he said it like such a straight face. Like he was saying it like, yeah, of course I know who the Idris guy is. You know,
Following
like
this guy's whole career.
yeah. And I was sitting there. I'm like, I don't know if I know who the Idris guy is. Like, who's in this movie? Like,
Yeah, he's a hot shot young rookie, and I could not tell you what else he's from, but he's pretty good in this. And dude, testament to him for like him and Brad Pitt, because like not a shot in hell you'd ever get me behind an F1 car doing 180 just to film like race car scenes. Like that's fucking nuts.
yeah. Yeah, I mean it's like that Tom Cruise is the other guy I can think of off the top of my head who does that kind of stuff a lot. And it's like that feels like it's such an important skill to have as an actor, which is just like, yeah, I'll spend the next, like 8 months learning how to be an F1 driver. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
All the credit to the actors that will do that and put their body and soul on the line to like just entertain us because like it works. It was so effective. Every single race, I was literally like clutching my armchair because I was just like knowing that like they were actually on the track. I'm like, this is unbelievable.
yeah.
I also had no idea that they like shut down Las Vegas for like 3 days out of the year to like make an F1 track.
Yeah, yeah, dude, when I was in
That's
Vegas with my
nuts.
dad, we were there the weekend before the F1 race and you could see like certain streets in Vegas were like set up and like roped off like for the track. Yeah.
That's like that's insanity. That's so
Like
cool.
we were driving on the F1 racetrack, like in Vegas. It was so
That's
cool.
That's so cool. And that's another thing this movie does very well. Like I love when I can see movies that are fun and interesting and get me interested in a thing that I wasn't before. Because it's like now I'd be like, dude, like I'm ready to check out some F1 when it comes around because like this shit was sick. Like
Yeah, dude, if you can go like you should go to the Vegas one. It's probably such a good time.
yeah, like it was so like I love when movies can do that that make me want to learn more about the thing that I'm watching. So just another absolute testament to this movie. It's exactly what you want out of summer blockbusters. It's fun, it's exciting, it's edge of your seat, pulse pounding. You're just around along for the ride. And that's what I want out of my blockbuster movies. I want to be along for a ride that doesn't make me groan and like look at stuff and take me out of the movie where I'm just like, well, that's clearly just a green screen.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah,
So I mean, I don't know. I don't know if it's obvious, but you probably don't need to do a lot of convincing this week. I was already really excited to go see this
yeah.
movie.
No, I knew
As
I knew from the get-go this was one that you definitely had on the board. So
like we do this like we usually do this in the beginning, but like my impressions of this based on like the half a trailer that I saw and really just that's the only thing it's based on. um like I immediately was like, "Oh, this is like Bull Durham but in race cars." And that sounds amazing. Like
and
and it sounds like my impression
it's
wasn't too far off from the way you're talking about it here.
yeah, and now like my big thing is, going back and forth between that and Sinners now to which is my favorite of the year so far. Because I already said that like Heather with me, Heather and Blank went and saw it. And it wasn't even halfway through before I looked at Heather and was like, this is my favorite movie of the year already. Like I don't even need to see another fucking scene. Like I'm
Right.
like I'm so goddamn in right now. So it's great. It's great. And I don't want to say too much of it because obviously like I want you to see it and be able to experience a lot of it yourself. So I don't want to dig
Yeah.
too deep into the movie other than to
I
say
mean, I'm not super worried about it, but yeah, I think like I'm so excited about it. I'm almost like I don't want to ask too many questions. I've confirmed what I need to confirm for me
Yeah.
to like just like justify my excitement, and now I really just want to go see it in a couple days. I'm gonna be pumped.
And that's for all you people out there too. If you just like seeing fun, like edge of your seat excitement, like on a big screen with the loudest sound possible, the best screen possible, like this is, we you put out the feeler when we started doing these, Jim, on what's gotta see in theaters, what's you can wait for streaming, and like what's avoided at all costs. Like if there is any movie to come out this year that is you need to see it in theaters, it is this movie. Like I
Yeah,
don't care how good your sound system is at home. I don't care how good your TV is at home. It will not compare to seeing this movie on the big screen and the roar of those fucking engines and just and
yeah,
like ladies, don't you want to see shirtless Brad Pitt up on the big screen? Like, come on.
yeah. Did you ever watch racing on TV?
Sometimes, but never like that like not paying attention to it as much. Like it might have been on like when I've been at places, but I've never been like glued to the screen for it.
Yeah. So, me and a certain drummer that we both know used to get together and watch like NASCAR races and
I know he
IndyCar
was a big
races.
NASCAR guy.
Yeah, and we would like, we would get like a 24 pack. We'd each drink like 5 or 6 beers and just like watch the NASCAR. And when NASCAR was on TV, they used to do this thing where Darrell Waltrip, everybody calls him DW, he would be like, "All right, everybody, crank it up," and you would just like you would crank like our drummer friend would crank up the volume on his TV, like fucking blare the sound system. And then they would cut off all the audio on the TV broadcast except the track audio. So it would just be like loud engines like roaring through your speakers.
It's awesome.
And that's like I'm just picturing this movie like at its best is like crank it up but with a movie sound system and I'm dying for it. Like I want it to happen so bad.
Yeah, it's absolutely like that, and that's what makes it so great. So yeah, so absolutely see it in theaters, see it on the biggest screen you could possibly find at whatever your local theater is. I know I'm seeing it again. I'm taking Big Rob during the week next week, so I'm definitely catching this movie again. It's been a good year for seeing movies multiple times in theaters. I don't normally do that, but we've gotten some good hitters, and I've seen a couple more than once in theaters. And F1 is
Yeah.
absolutely getting added to that list.
If this is that good, I'll probably see it twice. Yeah, I'll probably see it twice. Ooh, is this like a new category? Like where I'm planning on seeing it twice?
That's the new category. See it twice. And F1 going to sit at the top of that. See it twice right now. And that goes for all you people out there too. See it for your first time. If you saw it already, go out and see it again. And then come back and let us know what you thought of F1. We'd love to hear yourself down in the comments. But as always, go out, enjoy these movies for yourself, form your own opinions, and make sure you tune back with us next week when we talk about Jurassic World Rebirth. Speaking of number 7 in the world.
Like, can we not just do M3 GAN 2.0?
Oh God.
Come on, let's
No,
do
nobody.
M3 GAN 2.0.
I think I would be the only person who went and saw that because no, that movie bombed pretty hard, Jim.
Yeah, I mean I believe it, but it's just Terminator 2 with M3 GAN. It's got to be
Yeah.
good.
Like, what if we made Terminator 2, but with girl robots? And they're like, I think you did that already. It was called Terminator 3. But sure.
No, 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 not
But
exactly. No.
but sure. But all right, we'll see. We'll see what we'll dive for next week. But get out there, watch your own movies, people. And as always, we'll see you at the movies.